What's going on, Flix Talkers? Welcome back to another movie review. This time for Promising Young Woman. It is rated R. It has a runtime of 1 hour, 53 minutes, and it was released on Christmas Day, December 25th, 2020. Now, this film is directed by Fennell, who's also an actress herself, as well as a writer and a producer, and she's done some writing on Killing Eve and works on The Crown. And the quick synopsis for Promising Young Woman is: a young woman traumatized by a tragic event in her past seeks out vengeance against those who cross her path. Now, this film does star Carey Mulligan, who plays Cassie, Cassandra, and I do remember her from Drive and The Great Gatsby. Drive more notably because I always used to watch that movie at least once a month. It left such an impact I had to keep watching this one. So she does play, someone who is suffering from a traumatic event that did happen 7 years prior while she was in med school. Now, before I continue, guys, this is going to be a spoiler-free review. All of my reviews are always spoiler-free unless otherwise noted in the title. Going back to her story, she's basically left med school now because of the traumatic experience that happened to her friend, and it seems like she is seeking vengeance or redemption along the way amongst other people, other men that kind of fall for this similar situation that they themselves put them in. And it's an interesting vengeance, Punisher type move that she really throws, these guys into. Well, once again, they put themselves in this situation, and it's her justification for doing so. So we flash forward and we get to see Cassie 7 years after her med school incident that didn't happen to her necessarily, but it happened to a very, very close friend that she grew up with. Her name was Nina. We don't get to see Nina, but we get to hear her story, and we're told of the connection that they had. They grew up together, they spent a lot of time, so they were pretty much like sisters, and it becomes Cassie's personal mission to get back at guys that put her friend in a situation that she was in. That's all I'm going to say. It's really hard to kind of allude to what they're talking about. Maybe watch the trailer to kind of put the pieces a little more together before you watch it. But this is a story, about real life situations that are happening that are kind of brushed under the rug, depending on privilege or depending on, the sex being a male. Certain, things sway in certain people's favors. That's all I'm going to say. I will say that revenge stories like this aren't that, groundbreaking. This go back to the 70s of movies I can remember, like I Spit on Your Grave. That's one that pops in my mind, where it's more of a vicious killing revenge spree on the people or the men that wronged, a woman in that film. But they do show in extent detail that she has been doing this for quite some time. She currently now does work at a coffee shop, and she's, kind of grown very tiresome of her weary, mundane life until this old colleague, Ryan, played by Burnham, comes into the picture, and he seems like he's genuinely interested in her. So, here comes a guy that kind of definitely changes the mold of what she's used to at the bar that she goes to every week to kind of lure guys in. I don't want to keep saying lure guys in because they're doing it to themselves. They go after a girl who's obviously too intoxicated, and they try to take her home and have their way with her. He's obviously the opposite. He's cut from a different cloth, and, she starts to kind of steer away from the mission at hand. Once again, this is like she's like a vigilante in the night, taking this street justice into her own hands. And that's what I really liked seeing, was that it was a different story. I will say, guys, if this subject nature is a little bit too much for you, don't worry. They don't really show too much. And that's what I don't like to see. I'm really, really open-minded when it comes to movies that tackle subject nature of rape or domestic violence and stuff like that, but I prefer not to see it. And they did a good job of not showing really much of that. It was just kind of, they alluded to it, or it was off screen or something of that nature, and it was done in a very, very tasteful way to kind of amp up the production of everything. I feel like if they would have shown that, it may have tarnished the movie a little bit, if that makes sense. It would have brought it down a notch grade or something for me, because I feel like that's such an easy go-to, especially nowadays. Horror is a perfect example. I mean, with the Saw franchise, with Hostel, stuff like that. It's so easy to go to showing killing and stuff like that, or brutal rape and domestic violence on screen, but to leave it up to your imagination, that's a rare thing that not a lot of directors like to tackle. So I will commend Emerald for definitely taking a chance with not showing that, because we know Hollywood loves seeing everything under the sun. So, and then once again, of course, this is subject nature that you don't hear too much of, at least in the forefront of, a movie, so to speak, unless it's like a killing spree of revenge, like I said. But this is done in a little bit more tasteful way, like I was saying before, that it was an enjoyable full-length movie form where the ends justify the means, I guess, is what I'm trying to say as well. I don't condone any of this stuff that she is doing, Cassie, by the way, but I can understand how she got to that breaking point, and it really does shape her character. And Cassie, played by Carey Mulligan, does a fantastic job in this role once again, guys. To be a believable person, where it's almost like night and day. During the daytime, she's a completely different person that looks extremely clean cut, dresses, makeup and stuff like that. She's always popping bubble gum or has some kind of candy in her mouth or whatever like that. You would never know the type of things that she's doing after dark, and that's what really makes you kind of scared to step out of your house, because you never know what to expect from certain people. Now, along the way, I noticed that this was kind of like a LA setting. I'm only guessing it's in LA because we had all of our LA co-star, like, power playlists. So we had Alison Brie. She's in a lot of these type of movies. Adam Brody, he always plays the same guy that he's not the good guy. He's going to have something up his sleeve, as well as Sam Richardson. He's always up to no good in these movies. And Christopher Mintz-Plasse, who you guys know as McLovin from Superbad. So once I saw all these three guys lined up, I was like, okay, these guys are definitely fitting the cliche mold of what a douchebag is. And once again, this is like Hollywood type movie, like from, cast list all the way down the roster. And I was fine with that because I knew what to expect, what was going to happen as far as the predictability with these characters. And once again, no more spoilers, guys. But some other characters that I enjoyed seeing was Clancy Brown, played by Stanley. He was in Pet Sematary 2, one of my favorite horror movies, as well as Jennifer Coolidge, who plays Susan, the mother. So I really enjoyed seeing the flashback. It seemed like, she was, the MILF in American Pie. Like, these are people that I grew up on. So it's cool that they're still doing work, and they can, shimmy themselves in one of these modern movies, even if it's the parents that we get to spend a little bit of time with, with her and Cassie. She just turns 30, by the way. So, there's a little interaction there, here and there, but they don't know what's going on with their daughter, but they want the best for their daughter. And they really do play parents that fit the cliche of, especially the mother. She wants to brag about her daughter. So the fact that she left med school was a complete disappointment, and they show that. And I really do like spending time with side characters, because that helps to develop the story, her ambition, her triumph, and the end. And we get to realize maybe a little bit more of her method of her madness, because she's hearing it constantly at home. Now, I wanted to touch on really quick the score and some of the music behind this, guys. We got an eclectic score. So we have, I noticed there was a little number that they did to a Paris Hilton song inside the pharmacy that was extremely cheesy. It was almost like an episode of Glee, but I thought it was extremely funny, especially to that scene and the part of the, in the movie that we're getting introduced to this blossoming possible love, as well as a score at the end where it's a rendition of Britney Spears' Toxic in the most scary, Get Out, Jordan Peele, Us type of way he could have done it. And it's done like in a very horror, sinister element type. And I like that. I like that type of stuff. I mean, you can do a rendition of a poppy song and make it ferocious and evil sounding. Kudos, man. You really immersed me into what's supposedly coming in the next scene or the ending finale of this movie, and it had me on edge of what was going to happen. So All of this being said, guys, and I know it's really hard to not speak about spoilers, I will say that this is not your average revenge type movie. It was up a caliber from those revenge type movies that are very cut and dry. You know the format. Though some of the characters may have been predictable, like I said, the co-stars and stuff like that, the Hollywood, celebs that you always see in these type of straight to VOD movies, that was fine because I was more on the central plot of Cassie, of what she was gonna do, of when she was gonna stop, possibly. And I just wanted to learn more about her. Also, we got a supporting role from Laverne Cox, who had a small role as her boss in the coffee shop that she worked at, which I thought was appropriately named and ironically named Make Me Coffee. That's so funny as a name. I really hope it's an actual place for a coffee shop that's just called Make Me Coffee. That's genius because that's, you just walk in and that's what it is. But I thought she did a good job because I didn't watch Orange is the New Black. I saw a couple of episodes she was in, but never in any movies. So I thought she was good. I thought she did a pretty good job. I would like to see more of her because she kind of played a more of a sassy, not only boss, but a friend that was really concerned with Cassie. And it was cool. So once again, guys, all of that being said, Promising Young Woman gets a solid 4 out of 5 for me, guys. I really wouldn't change too much other than some of the predictable moments. The ending was phenomenal. Was fantastic, guys. I was not expecting what I saw, but I was actually really happy with the outcome. And I think if you guys do like these type of films, once again, it's a twist a little bit on the revenge genre. That there's a lot of movies like this, guys, similar, but none that do it like this. So I definitely say take a chance when you guys can. I don't know when it's coming out to physical or VOD, but I'll put that information maybe up here or in the description once I find that out after editing this video. And if you guys did appreciate my review, my spoiler-free review on Promising Young Woman, make sure to hit that thumbs up. It always does help the channel, and it spreads this video to more people that are not subscribed. And if you aren't subscribed, consider subscribing today by hitting that subscribe and bell notification, guys, to join the Flix Talk family. All right, guys, I'll see you in the next video. Till next time, peace.